would like to present about the way or pitfalls that we encounter when we first timely handling the incident response in the cloud basis. So that's why my title called "You Need Wings to Fly to the Cloud," because you don't just use your basic knowledge in incident response in the host base and then use that and apply that into the cloud. A brief introduction for me. My name is Burman, and I am currently head of information security at one of unicorns in Indonesia. I'm emphasizing Indonesia because we will talk about specific regulation in Indonesia. And there is a disclaimer first that the opinions expressed in these presentations and on the following slides are solely my own and not necessarily those of the company I work with. So I also a 10-year Java programmer, and who love to fish more after my web applications was hacked by my two close friends there. And then starting from there, I love the fear to develop the internet threat program and also conducting hacking investigations, and then the certification I have. So these presentations will talk about the common pitfalls for the incident responder who are accustomed to handle the on-premise resources, let us say that laptop and then on-premise servers, and then they were tasked to handle the cloud-based resources, which the physically is not there. They should have the knowledge about the cloud, and then also with the cloud agnostic technique and also cloud specific technique. Now, to begin with, people might ask, Burman, why are you still looking for a person who handle the on-premise while the cloud is already there? So it is begin with the regulatory compliances first, because security, we will also talk about the regulatory compliances, the risks, and then this is also one of the risks that we perceive. So one of the regulations that in 2007, this is central bank regulations about the what we call a PBI of MRTI. This is translated in English as the implementation of risk management in the use of information technology by commercial banks. So it's been there, 2007. And then the thing is, since 2007, all of the system, all of the banks system should be placed on the premise. So let alone that the electricity problem, network connectivity problem, all of those hardware problems. So you have to handle that on the premise resources. And then it goes to the bigger scope that is not only for the financial sector industries only, but it is also regulated in the bigger audiences as well. So Indonesia government regulations, what we call PPPSTE or GR 82/2012, this is mandating that all of the data and the server should be processed in Indonesia soil. That will be adding up another situations where you have to have the servers not only for the financial sector, but all of the sectors that we have. Now, the regulations there have the transitions time for 5 years, but then in 2019, there was the new articles, the new regulations about the GR 71 to revise that is only financial sectors that is applicable for regulation from Bank Indonesia. So that will create another situations where not much the options for the banking industries or also the startup that is involved or require the license from Bank Indonesia, because those kind of regulations still there. And then every single license that you want to have or you want to acquire from Bank Indonesia, that you need to prove for them that, hey, you know what, you have to spawn your server on premise, or you have to use the local cloud. Now, that's creating a demand about the on-prem resources. So something like the person, some banks are looking for the person with the capability, hey, I want to have this kind of a TPS or RPS, and then we want to spawn the server or the services, then come to the brand, come to the other technology that we can have, and then spawn that, and not necessarily mentioning about the procurement process that usually due to the import problem, a lot of paperwork or administrative things that you have to handle. And then once you do the capacity planning in the January, you might have that kind of resources on perhaps in February, not next year. So more than 13 months to plan that. Bummer, yeah, this is something that we have to handle. And then also the demand for looking for the network engineering as well. So for example, can you set up log from this device to the other device? Those kind of situations were created at that time. And then the local cloud providers at that time were similar as the colocation and hosting company. They just simply put the space and then rent a space, and then you want to put your own server there, and then there will be like a guaranteed SLA for the electricity and then the networking connectivity. And then these shape the market, and then low interest in developing cloud-based skill, because if you are in Indonesia, having skill of, oh, you know what, I have the capacity or capability to handle digital forensic in cloud. Well, certain industry will look for that kind of resources, but most of the FSI industry were still interested in the resources with the skills handling the on-prem or colocation services. Altogether, those are three shaping the market for the talents that only handling the on-premise. So this is including the security area, something like the penetration testers, digital forensic and investigator analysts, because you have to conduct your investigations on the premise. How do you handle and how you pull out the hard drive? So those kind of skills. And then in addition to that, the big cloud player infrastructure are available officially in Indonesia in the mid of 2008. You can see there Ali Cloud. I have to mention those three brands. Ali Cloud in 2018, and then Google Cloud in 2020, and then Amazon AWS itself 2021. This is the official announcement, but I do understand that the several companies already offered by those players long before this official announcement began. And then during this process, the DFIR industries were well known only for conducting host-based forensic investigations, something what we call a big four, offering the e-discovery, something about, oh, this laptop was used by someone who committed a crime, then let's take it out the hard drive, let's take out everything and create the evidences, and then create a timeline, and then, okay, this person is not necessarily involved, or this person is really involved with this kind of accused crime, because we saw a lot of evidences there. So something about the malware analysis. So for example, how did this computer get infected? Or something like 2017, we noticed about the WannaCry. We investigated how did this malware spawn, and then the local resources being used and then spawning here and there, and then, oh, just realized, okay, this computer is the patient 0, then we go to the other system that were infected. And then conducting network forensic investigation also is a little bit easier, because you have everything on your on-prem, because the log is there, you can see the server, and then the server is configured inside your own network, and then the retention problem or the SIM log capability was there. It's easier for us to investigate on the data breaches when it is happen in the on-prem servers. So no issue at all. Something like regular business as usual, digital forensic investigator and analyst for the laptops, the team member able to collecting the fact, artifact, or the physical acquisitions for the hard drive. So most of the investigator in the field investigator already equipped with themselves with the most tools that they require. So for example, how to handle FLT2 chip, and then how to handle the full disk encryptions. Do we need this write blocker, or how do we detach this the laptop while this is still on the specific brand? And then for the software, a lot of software has been available there. So something like the sleuth kit, the favorite tools, open source, and then also the paid software. And then for the memory acquisitions, we use Moonfall Dump It or DD. And then Node also handling the stuff. So for example, there is a USB USB plug there, and then a lot of event can be captured. And then also the network devices logs. It's something like things that we can easily to understand. Oh, there was the traffic to attack SMB into this laptop. Then we know where should we do the other investigations. That should be like a BAU until an incident occurred in the cloud. So if team are starting to see and then questioning about, wait, hold on here, sir. If I were usually assigned to handle the laptop investigations, and then I can easily to pull out the hard drive, how do we forensically approve the acquisition for this image in the server in the cloud? How do we isolate the server? Because if you notice that this laptop is still connected to the Wi-Fi, but we can simply put it on the Faraday cage or a Faraday bag for the laptop. And then how do we isolate the server? How do we prevent someone for accessing this laptop? Is easy, just simply confiscate it and then put it on the specific room. But for the server in the cloud, a team confused about how do we ensure that the connectivity is still there, but we are not allowing people to still access them? And then also how to deal with the PVC networking. Something like, okay, how do we know that the rules going from the internet going to this server are filtered properly? So for example, the host-based firewall or the network-based firewall, which one of what is blocking us, and then do we have that kind of logs? Those kind of questions still linger. This is already take time because when the incident reported, the team member requires more than hours to understand and start to investigating. Start to collecting the facts. More questions when the field investigator given an access. How do you conduct memory dump there? Because the server is still up and running. And then we noticed that there were CPU spike utilizations, and then also the memory, and then the connectivity still looking back and forth. And then how do we know that the active process, will there be like a fileless malware there? Or how do we know that there is the a backdoor is still active there? So the question from team is not being able to answer. And then simple questions, do we still need write blockers when we pull out the data from the hard drive? And then the other question, something like how can you analyze the artifact on the cloud while the workstations that we usually use to analyze the artifact is on Jakarta? So how do we download it? And then not to mention this image is very big in gigabytes size, but the internet at that time was very the choking point for us. And then we have to use the other ISP to download those kind of artifacts. And then the next question, if we want to go to the card, how do we preserve the chain of custody while the artifacts were transferred multiple times here and there without having any tampering or still maintaining who's accessing what? And then when the team said that, oh yeah, we have this strategy, but it requires someone that has the admin access in this cloud. So for example, how do we contact the cloud administrator to detach that disk and then to move to the other disk, spawn other instances, virtualizations to connect to that instance, and many more questions. Then we decide go whatever we can collect. And then we finally found a way, so-called found a way. The team did this, detached the disk from the original servers, attached to the newly spawned in Linux machines on the same cloud, but we forgot to differentiate or set up the VPC so that this is only accessible by the investigator only. And then because the tools were not being able to be uploaded there, and then we used the simple tools that are available on the Linux PC3DD to get this image, conducting these acquisitions, and then no memory dumps because at that time no tools available, and then how we don't know how to transfer the software or to tools to that machines. no VPC log. We were surprised at that time because we were able to find the person who handled the billing, and then they said that, oh yeah, we deliberately turn off the VPC log because that will cost more. So that's why we are not enable that due to the cost saving. Bummer with that. And then finally, we download all the artifacts to the local machines and then begin the analysis using SunShift. Then we touch here and there, and then fortunately, the crime scene has been tampered. We realized that something were going on while we were discussing things. So remember, in incident response, you seconds or minutes is matter for the investigator, because we don't know whether the perpetrator or the hacker still have access to that server or that resources. And then using the timeline analysis and this image analysis, we found out that from the WTMP, this victim, we found that since the incident reported, we were seeing a lot of access from the employees to connect to that server, login using the SSH. So even this is reported as the incident, we asked the people that log into the server, why did you log in? Oh, we want to help you. But the thing is, these persons are having the good deeds, but not necessarily having the knowledge to handle the artifacts or the crime scenes. Hence, a lot of artifacts were changed. The timeline analysis was done, and then the MACD of several files was there. And then we found out that the crypto miner at that time was changed, or the timestamp has been shifted into more than the incident were reported. So that should be already make us a little bit disappointed. So we don't have the memory dump at that time. We don't have the VPC log, and then we conclude the investigations, and then analysis say that the several indicators show that the threat actor was compromising the vulnerable service and the library in the server. The server is just spawned in the time Y, for example. And then within minutes, this server already mounted into the internet and allowing 0.0.0.0/0 and then allowing everything there. But we don't know whether this is the act of the threat actor or this is the act of the user itself, because we don't know whether this is the internal threat or this is someone that hacked the regular cloud resources to spawn the crypto mining. Several files were created, but we don't know whether these files were deleted or were added just to make the investigator and analyst confused. So those kind of questions we could not answer whether this is the act of external threat actor or this is the internal threat actor. And then we can also answer the process whether is there any backdoor active, is there any what we call a respawn or the cron job active when we restart the server. And then we can answer how did the threat actor exploit the service, with the which payload has been used, because we don't have the network logs in there. And then we conducted the postmortem as usual. All of the incident, we have to conduct the RCA and then written in the postmortem draft. And then the regrettable root cause is, we call it regrettable because we could have prevent this happen, but just because we don't have that kind of knowledge, and then we should have announced that no one should access this, and then we have to block or access to that kind of a server before we copy it to the server or we do the image to the server. Then the second one is not all the tools are available on that cloud because we have to upload, and then the problem with the tools to be uploaded, and then we don't want that all of access being tampered. So those kind of tools are not available. So we are only using the available tools only at that moment. I'm sorry, at the time. And then the team was not part of the authorized admin. This is the also important part, because they were just a regular cloud user with the regular IAM in the cloud. So they can't perform the, for example, detaching or changing the VPC, changing the configurations to prevent all of those isolations. And then again, no VPC network logs were turned on. We try to understand the situation where the logs will be charged based on the gigabytes store, but we also have to have the use cases that prominent enough that, hey, we need that kind of a log for retention, 30 days or 10 days. And then we realized that at that time that no proper training and exercise, because we never conducting the what we call tabletop exercise, who should make the calls when something happened. We never did some dry run if something hacked or something going on in the cloud. And then we just simply stunned with, I thought that you were a good a person in digital forensic. Yeah, but we only have the experiences in the on-premise or physically appear resource only. So it doesn't mean that the experienced host-based digital forensic team can guarantee to handle the cloud-based forensic. Then this is, as the manager, I saw that this is important for the company to give them the wings to fly to the cloud, hence the title that. We have to have the budget justifications for cloud to enable the configuration we needed. So those VPC logs should be retentions or 30 days, or we can put it on the cold storage, something like a low cost with the big storage but low speed. We can move that move into that kind of storage, and then we have to prepare the investigator role in the cloud, regardless the cloud provider, either Ali Cloud or GCP or AWS. Just grant them the investigator role that have ability to read anything but doesn't have a capability to write or change anything, and then grant it to CSAT member, because they have to work fast, blocking the access, isolating the network, isolating the resources, detach the log, or spawning a new server using a Terraform. Those kind of things have to be prepared before incident happens, of course. And then invest tools in for investigations in IaaS, infrastructure as a service, something like these acquisitions, memory acquisition, specific instance to conduct investigation. You have to have the instance standby and then turn it on when the investigators are there. Something like connecting hard drive or this image to this instance. And then also we try to enforce that regardless the experience, regardless the skill that they have to refresh their skills and information about the new threat in cloud. So attending security or different conferences, something like SANS, APEC, and then also enroll to the DFIR workshop for the cloud provider used by the company. If you are a company that use multi-clouds, then you have to have a specific person to handle specific cloud provider, because we realized that when we use the cloud provider A, and then all of those menus are there, and then the script were prepared there, and then when we use the script in the playbook onto the cloud provider B, that is not necessarily working well. So you have to prepare that. And then exercise or conduct a red team, blue team exercise in the cloud. Do not just start with the laptop only or internal cloud program only, but start to develop what kind of a threat that might be possible in the cloud that is not necessarily able to happen in the on-premise situations. So blue team also have the capability to detect a new threat, whether this is something like new IOC or new indicator that we can see, oh, this is the new one, and then we know how to handle this. So I think that should be concluding my presentations.